What's up, guys? My name is Ted Darklaw, and with me, as always, is the Black Knight. We are the co-owners of Hella Dope Toys, helladopetoys.com, and this show is Hella Dope. Aaron, how the hell you doing?
Bruh, bring that music back. That was a bop.
Oh yeah, it was good. I had to find something that graced the elegance of the Bandito and got people hyped up at the same time. Right. I think we did all right.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the copyright strike. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it's coming. You know it is. It always says it's not, but it does. I like when they wait 3 days, then hit us with it.
Oh yeah, just so you know, you're not gonna get monetized for any of this crap. Like, well, the joke's on you. No, we're not monetized for any of it anyway.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. But Aaron, we have a huge show tonight. Normally, I would banter with you and we talk about our boring weeks, but yo, we got guests on the show, and they are hyped to speak. And I don't think we should wait any longer.
We shouldn't.
All right. Well, let me adjust this here. So we got 3 guests tonight, Aaron. It is a full house up in here. Our first 2 guests, man, they're grinders like us. They're building their dreams through sweat, grit, and passion. I would like to welcome the founders of OddFrog Entertainment, as well as the 112th Street Chop Shop. At this time, please welcome Kelly and Eddie. Welcome, guys. How are you?
We're great, guys. Thank you for having us.
Oh, man, I feel bad. I didn't get the applause in there that you deserve. There we go. There it is. All right. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about, but there is a third man waiting to come in. And boy, is he hyped up tonight. He is hyped up, and this show is going to get really wild. So I'm trusting you guys to contain him here. All right. You're on honor duty. Well, our next guest is a literal toy legend. If you are a toy collector, there's no doubt that there's something in your collection that this man is impacted in one way or another. He is the first guy that anybody in the toy industry calls when it's time to do work. Please welcome our guest, Mr. David Vonner. David, how are you doing?
What's happening? What's happening?
Oh, man, I didn't give you the applause either. I am.
No, man, I need my applause. Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
Yeah, keep it going. We need standing ovations. We need confetti. We need all the things.
We need all that. We need the sailor and the nurse kissing in the background. You know, we need it all. We need it all. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we are excited. We're gonna be talking a lot of things, Bandito tonight, as well as some stuff about you, Mr. Vonner. So we're gonna get to all that stuff. We're not gonna keep him waiting because I know you guys got a lot to talk about. But the first thing I have to do is ask my brother here, my partner, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
What you sipping on?
Oh, Mr. Darklaw, I thought you'd never ask. It's not a Sunday show without having the fine, beautiful, crisp, cold, sexual.
Sexual?
Sexual. You gotta use a Z.
Is that
kind of show already?
oh, yes, sir. We sip on that fine spiked lemon ice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's still reserved, boy.
Yes, sir. 8% of glory.
That still reserve has made many men feel mighty.
That's right.
That's why I still drink
it.
I tell my wife, like, I'm feeling mighty today. She's like, shut up, we're going to bed. I'm like, okay.
Oh no. Shut down.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll get her later. But Mr. Darklaw,
lagging, or is it just me? It looks like this thing is lagging.
I think it's. I know, Kelly, you're kind of jumping around a little bit, but not a lot. But you're good.
I see that. Let me see if there's anything I can close here.
Okay, while y'all doing that, can I tell you what
all good? Let's go.
Because I'm excited to talk about what I'm sipping on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let the people know what you got.
I'm sorry to step on your shit, but look.
Go ahead, David Vonner. What you sipping on?
An espresso martini made by my sister Darlene. Bro, listen, look at this. Look.
Wow.
He said, look at this. Look at this.
True man of class.
What you got around the rim there, David? What's around the rim? The
chocolate.
Oh,
chocolate.
man. Nice.
It got like coconut shavings. I mean, the cocoa shavings inside. Yo, I mean, this is 5-star. This is 5-star.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
hey, I love Still Reserve like the next man, but shit, I'm sipping on espresso martini, homemade, handmade. You can't beat it. So props to my
If I knew
sister
you were
Darlene.
coming in
Yo,
like
she
that, I would have
hooked it up.
stepped my drink game up.
Oh, stepping it up, he said.
I know. I can't let y'all know how I'm coming. You know what I mean? I can't do that. I'm coming at you. You know what I'm saying? I can't let you know. You gotta feel it. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna be
Oh,
feeling it.
all right. Here we go.
All right, Kelly, Eddie, what about you, gentlemen? What are you guys?
You and
Eddie,
Middle,
you
go,
better
go,
start. My DoorDash was late, so my chilada is on the way. So my 7-Eleven chilada doesn't compare to David's thing at all, but they're really good when it gets here.
There you go. Same with me. I just walked down the street right now to the Carne Ceria. I bought myself one of those margaritas in the can. Poured it. I normally poured it in a big old chilada cup with the rim and everything. And that's what I'm sipping on. This one is watermelon, and I got a mango one in the fridge.
Look, Eddie is LA as fuck.
Hey, born and raised, you know. Born and raised. That's how
I had to get that out.
All right, Mr. Dark Claw, what about you, man?
Delicious.
Well, now I feel lame because you know me in my trusty hella dope mug. I just got some coffee to get hype, stay hype, and then we finally found some fucking Saratoga because that buff dude on fucking Twitter made everybody buy the fucking Saratoga. And by the way, guys, I love all the memes that you've been sending me of that custom Saratoga guy action figure. I actually want it. But yeah, no, that one man started a movement and everybody bought Saratoga. I think they're over it now.
But ain't nobody buying bananas to rub on their face. I mean, come on, you got to put the banana peel
Bonner
all
knows
over
what's
your
up.
face.
Bonner knows what's up. Nobody bought them fucking bananas.
That's
All right,
man.
Wow, this is the most intense "What You Sipping On" segment I think we've ever had. You guys really fucking brought it tonight.
Okay.
I'm proud of y'all. Fucking, I sent the notes, and normally everyone's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll bring some water." Nah, man, y'all fucking came in here and you crushed that shit. But there's some people we need to say hello to in the chat. And by the way, chat, if you guys got questions about anything about the Bandito or for Mr. Vonner, for OddFrog in general, start throwing them in the chat. We'll have a couple of chat breaks and we will start those and get to them at the appropriate time. But Aaron, let's say hello to our friends in the chat.
Indeed. Who we got? We got first in here, Chet Medics. How's it going, Chet? Good to see you.
What up, Chet?
Oh, shit.
The sexiest
Not to be
man
overdone.
alive. Check's the sexiest man alive.
I mean, there's some claims for number one sexiest man. You know, I was on a magazine that I cut out myself.
I printed myself.
We got our good friend Trusted Screamer. Chet may have been first, but Chet ain't got hella dope and chill going on at his place.
Hold on. Did he send me a picture? Did he send me? He didn't send me a fucking picture.
Well, he's
Happy anniversary.
15 years, man.
Happy anniversary.
They have that super exclusive sexy time that they can't share with you.
Look, we got a gimmick now where they send me a picture of them watching the show, sometimes drinking Saratoga, and here we are. Here we are, breaking the streak.
Always something with you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got?
Dr. Bradley, man, step your drink game up. Come on. I'm reading the comments.
Largo's Lair. What's
Largo's
up, Largo?
Lair, the man, the myth, the legend.
Largo.
Yes, sir. Our good friend, Mr. Wonderful. How's it going, man? Apparently he was fifth. I mean, I guess we're paying attention now to
Counting now.
Well,
what comments we're
wait
at now.
a minute. Is he fifth or is he drinking the fifth?
It's probably both.
Maybe he plead the fifth.
The fifth? 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
Hold on, Aaron. I got an adjustment to make. Trust a Screamer and Mrs.
There we
Trust
go.
a Screamer sent me a
Nice.
picture of them watching the show on
That's
their
awesome.
anniversary. There it is.
There's
The
nothing more
streak
beautiful
lives.
than seeing couples huddled together. So let's celebrate that love. Let's celebrate the love.
Absolutely.
And the love of toys, man. How cool is that?
Exactly.
Yes.
And the love of the Bandito that we'll be getting into very soon.
Awesome.
What we got? Our good friend, our moderator, Action Figs. Probably don't start until I shut up. You were already here. Get out of here.
What
The
up,
Titan,
action? Time for some action.
Always time for some action.
Axion is.
Oh, I gotta holler at the Titan. Yo, the Titan. He called me the push-up king. Yo, we was getting it in. We was getting it in. You know, down at Atlanta, man. Atlanta, man. We was getting it in.
Man, we should have gone, Ted. We should go.
We should have gone.
Some push-up action. I just would have drank my beer.
To hashtag not my PowerCon.
Hashtag not my PowerCon.
Hashtag not my PowerCon.
Yeah. We're still a little heated about that, but that's another show.
That's fine. It's fine. I'll get over it, Wimby.
Yeah, when it comes back to Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was our first convention, actually, with showcasing any of our stuff. So it was really cool. Very exciting.
We were stuck in our booth, so we didn't get out much. So we're sad we missed you.
Well, we're sad we missed you guys too. But it sounds like we'll be back next year for sure too.
We'll see if we'll make it. We don't know. Robert's Infinite Realms, it's hella dope and jelly time. Always. We got Shadows Knowns Networks, OddFrog and Bonner. This is gonna be a great episode.
Yes, it is. We are hyped.
We're gonna melt some screens.
And speaking of the missus, she's here, so we have to behave. Well,
hello. I'm so sorry for my foul mouth. I will do my best behavior.
No, Mrs. Yancey hears it all the time from me. She's immune to it all. She's immune to it all.
That's very true. It's the boys you got to watch out for.
No, I do it in front of them too. I'm a bad uncle.
Largo says, "Hello, dope time. Chicks dig still good and froggy fresh.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, sir.
Largo knows what's up."
We got Alexander Storm. What's going on, my OddFrog brothers and
Alex,
the man religion?
And listen, Alex is sipping on that Uncle Nearest. You know what I'm saying? The blackest whiskey you can find anywhere. My man sipping on that Uncle Nearest. That's what I'm talking about.
Too much for me. I'm gonna enjoy my still reserve and be happy. We already popped that one up. We got that one. Ted, obviously buttons are hard to push. It's okay. We'll forgive you.
Ed, you want to come back and be the producer, man? I got too many buttons to push now. Got to just make the show look incredible and shit. No, I fucking got to push every fucking button in the world. I need 5 hands here.
We love Ed too. Ed's been a longtime friend of ours, and he came on our podcast and long time ago, and I just always saw his name and called him Axion Figs. So you know
That's what we did.
Yeah.
it just stuck. It doesn't change. We don't care what his name is now. That's what his name is.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got MLC Voice. How's it going? Good to see you.
Mikey.
What up? What up?
A Punk with Toys. How's it going?
Nice.
What up?
Dr. Brantley. Damn, I need to up my drink game.
What's up, Dr. Brantley?
I mean, and compared to Mr. Vonner over there, I think we all need to up our drink game.
Just start the show over. Let's all go buy new drinks. We'll start over in like 10 minutes.
Back after these moments.
I don't want to brag, but
I'm
Dr.
glad you have my
Brantley,
drinks.
Dr. Brantley, you need a martini, man, like a dirty martini.
like a James Bond.
Yeah, like a James Bond type of martini. Because he does it all. He does it all.
Yeah.
We got Krusty Old Crow. Make sure you guys hit that like button. You know, just hit it a little bit. You know, it's fine. No, it won't complain. It won't call the cops. Just hit it. It'll be good.
What up, Krusty?
Then we got a 3-star draw. What's going on? Love seeing that Bandito in person a couple weeks ago.
Thank you. It was really fun to see everybody and meet everybody and kind of have that personal touch with people. That's one thing Eddie and I haven't really gotten to do. So it was super cool to meet everybody as well.
Oh yeah, and Chris, don't worry. I still have your message. I'm trying to get to it. We'll get back. We'll get to it. Don't worry. All right,
we'll get to you, Cutthroat. We'll get to you. All right, that's the chat.
Yeah,
that's exciting. Aaron, I'm curious. Did you see a flickering? Do you hear that sound?
Ooh. Oh, that's good.
Lightning. And boy, guys, you're in for it. This was not in your show notes. So let me tell you how the lightning round works, okay? First, we need lightning round music. There we go.
I guess I'll just throw the 8 pages of notes I wrote away.
Oh, no. Here we go.
The lightning round is where we get an opportunity to ask you guys all the boring questions that everybody always asks. You know, where were you born? What's your mother's maiden name? What's your social security number? We're going to get all that out of the way. The goal of the lightning round is to answer these questions as quickly as possible, and you are all going to have your own individual lightning round. So the goal is answer these before the time runs out. How much time is there? I don't know. I just know a big void from the sky opens up and kills us all if we run out of time. So Eddie, you're first up on the hot seat. Are you ready for the lightning round?
As ready as I'm gonna get.
All right. If you were in Star Wars, what color would your lightsaber be?
Definitely green.
Correct. You just discovered your long-lost twin. Which one of you is the evil one?
That might have to be him.
Correct.
Yeah!
All right, you're riding in a 1-to-1 full-size real Bandito. What's the first song you're playing?
Right now it's gonna have to be. Dang, that's a good one. I don't know.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Take it talk. We gonna go with let's go with Kendrick Lamar songs. I don't know anything Kendrick Lamar.
All right, anything Kendrick Lamar, correct.
Yeah.
All right, this is a really important question. Was Magneto right?
You know, that's debatable. It depends on whose perspective it is.
Correct. All right. Black Knight invites you to the cookout, which, by the way, he's never invited me to, by the way. What are you bringing?
I'm going to have to bring some fried chicken.
Correct. There we go. Kelly, where did you go? You're hiding. You have to get...
You had to get his DoorDash.
He had to go
his DoorDash probably showed up.
All right. Well, then I guess by default, David, you're up now.
Let's do it.
Are you ready for the lightning round? Who is your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Raphael.
Correct. Oh my God, spot on.
I'm on it.
How many action figures have your likeness?
Technically, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
Correct. All right. In a fair fight, no dirty tricks. Superman can totally whoop the Hulk's ass, right? That's like not even a doubt. Right? Superman stomps the Hulk every single time?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no. Hell no. Superman ain't beating the Hulk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all you little time fans. I'm sorry. I know you got a movie coming out. I'm sorry. No. He ain't beating the Hulk. I'm writing this story.
I'm with David on that one.
How many consecutive push-ups can you do?
50.
Correct. Best scale, 1/12. Best scale, 1/12 or 1/18?
The best scale, 1/12 or 1/18? Oh, you dirty. Y'all dirty. You know what? I'm going to say 1/12. I'm going to say 1/12.
Correct. All right, this is a drama-filled question, and I think since you're a little lit, that's going to be okay. Name a toy designer that makes you so mad because they're so good.
Damon Nee.
Correct.
Damon Nee is by far the best toy designer I've ever had the just to be in his presence. He's the best. He's the best.
Excellent. David Varner, you survived the lightning round without the giant void coming and opening it up on us. Kelly, it is now your turn. I hope you are ready.
I'm ready, and I apologize for the brief break. My actual drink just arrived, so I'll be sipping on something soon.
No.
Excellent.
Correct.
All right.
All right, what do we got? I'm a little nervous, I got to tell you.
No, you no need to be nervous. These are softball questions for you. Is there a normal frog entertainment?
There is not, and never will
Correct. Is cereal a soup?
be. Cereal is not a soup.
Correct. If you were a Power Ranger, what color Power Ranger would you be?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. Probably green. We got to go with green, right? Frog.
Correct. All right, what is the first action figure you're going to display in the Bandito on the shelf?
Probably Beachhead. I love Beachhead. That's my favorite G.I. Joe. Yeah, he's Marine. Yeah.
Correct. If you were a pro wrestler, would you be a face or a heel?
Oh man. Face, I guess.
Correct. In the first few moments of hearing this song, which song are you hoping it is? Ice Ice Baby or Under Pressure?
Under Pressure.
Correct. And then, can you recommend a good 1/12 scale car for me?
My money is all on the Bandito. I can't recommend it anymore. You got to go with the Bandito. 1/12 scale Bandito, action vehicle, extraordinaire.
Wow, you guys did it. You survived the lightning round. You guys got 100% of the questions right. It's incredible.
We always do. We always do.
Oh my goodness. Let me stop with the buttons here. All right.
I just want to add, if I had the choice to drive a real Bandito to scale and drive that, the first song that I would play would be The Beatkeeper by Another Death Creation. That's all. You guys may have not heard of them, but
that's coming from the creator of Bandito Radio too. So
yeah, we're gonna get the Beekeeper on Bandito Radio too. It's a hip hop classic. Look at that,
Mr. Vonner. A question was in the chat on your lightning round. They missed who you said that the designer that you named was.
Yep, his name is Damon Nee. We worked together at Toy Biz. Him and Jesse Falcon. Actually, Damon Nee is the creator of Spider-Man Classics, which is the precursor to Marvel Legends. And I worked underneath Damon Nee, learned so much. He's a fantastic, phenomenal artist, but also too, like, he knows how to communicate with artists. You know what I mean? And he worked on the giant 18-inch scale Spider-Man. I mean, but above his artistic ability, he's just a really, really dope individual. Like, he's really, really dope. So Damon Nee. He's at Mattel right now. Actually, Damon is heading up the DC line. He's going to be heading up the DC line over at Mattel. So,
tell David I need first inside scoop to my WWE figures that I keep getting screwed on.
Blame Bill McKinnon.
And that's a story for later.
All right. Well,
because
I'll send that later.
Now time to talk about the newest 1/12 scale vehicle, the Bandito. So, Eddie, Kelly, I guess I want to know it all, man. How did this start? Where are we at? What is shipping looking like? Why do the people that are watching right now want to add this to their collection? I'm just going to let you guys just have at it, and we'll just throw in any follow-up questions we got along the way.
Well, I'll start real quick, and then I'm going to hand it off to Eddie for kind of how it all began, because he was the one that kind of got first connected with the idea of vehicles in the 1/12 scale arena. I would just say the reason to buy the Bandito is we are taking a whole different approach to product and our company in general. And, it's specifically for customizers and toy photography. We want you to be able to get in there, tear it apart, rebuild it, paint it, and really have it tell your story. And we want to see something different in every picture on Instagram. So we've really geared towards like kind of premium, high detail, realism to a certain degree. And, we've put a lot of thought into it. We had our engineer pour through it and put a lot of extras in it. So for us, it's kind of the premium 1/12 scale vehicle being offered right now. And then, Eddie was the one that originally had the idea or came across the guy doing 1/12 scale vehicles. And, we thought we could elevate his design, and Eddie reached out to him, and kind of the rest is turbulent history. But go for it, Eddie.
Hey, real quick before you go, Ted, can you go back? I think it's 2 slides.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's right here.
Can you zoom in on that? I said that, so it says there's an on-off button.
So yeah, the on and off button. So the car has like Easter eggs and hidden features and playability, right? We gave you playability in it. So the battery of the car, the battery of a car functions as an on and off switch to turn the lights on in the car, while the batteries are located under the engine.
Okay.
So there's working headlights, tail lights, dash lights, and the on and off switch is the essential, the detail battery of the car is the on and off switch.
Okay, that's sweet. I was trying to.
That's the dope attention to detail that these guys have put into the Bandito. Like the battery is the on and off switch for the car. I mean, like that's like, you know, simple when you get there, but no one else has done that.
You know, everybody has a little switch here or there, or to operate your lights. But in a car, I mean, the battery of the car functions as your on and off switch, and the batteries are located under your engine. That's just like, in a sense, almost common sense that is overlooked in a way. So and we just paid attention to some details, and then added the idea of customizability, being able to customize it, and like Kelly was saying, tell your own story with it. Make it look unique and different with all the kits we offered that you showed. That's like a Mustang wide body kit, or the lowrider kit, and then like a JDM style kit. So we're trying to appeal to a wide variety, not just like action figure collectors, but the car enthusiasts and the car customizers and people who grew up on cars, people who have love for cars and want to customize cars. This is also an option for them. That's in a very relevant scale nowadays.
Awesome. So this was originally a Kickstarter, and then Kickstarters happen, and it didn't go through, and then you moved to pre-order.
Yeah, so we were just kind of naive on what it took to get a Kickstarter off the ground. We didn't have a very big following at the time on Instagram or anywhere really. We just had this design because we had done a lot of work for another entity out there that basically just disappeared and stuck us with a huge design bill. We had to pay our engineer out of pocket. And so we're like, well, we're going to keep going with the car. So at that point, we decided to launch a Kickstarter, and, we built it all out and set it all up. And, it did fairly well for a car of its size, I would say, for a thing like this. But we never got even close to our goal. We had kind of an extreme goal, again, just not really understanding. We had just seen the engine of vengeance fail. But we learned that there is at least 6,500 people out there that are interested in a car like this. And, we thought we had a better price and a more premium vehicle. And so we're like, okay, we'll go for 4,000. And, we never even got close to that. But that also grew into us building the free pre-order on our website, which we've basically been doing for the last year and a half, probably longer now, a little longer, to where we could get enough sales to go into production. We're just like, we'll just tell people what it is. If you want to buy in and you want to be a part of it, we're going to sit on it until we have enough money to go into production. So, yeah.
Awesome. And so where's production at now? Because I know you have some diehard fans out there. There's been people that have been with you throughout your entire journey here now of a few years. So where are we sitting at? Like, what's the timeline for a release?
So kind of like everything else right now, the timeline is up in the air, unfortunately, with tariffs and stuff like that. But we're really lucky, I guess, however you want to look at it. We were still taking orders and gearing the factory up to go into production. So, like, no money has changed hands or anything like that. We hadn't actually begun the tooling process. And then kind of when all this happened, we just like, whoa. Let's obviously hold off on that for a little bit. So, like everybody else, we're kind of just waiting to see what's happening. I mean, my heart goes out to businesses right now that are stuck in port. That's a rough thing. I've been in business since my early 20s, and I definitely feel for people, but I guess you could say we kind of lucked out in the timing. So yeah, we're kind of on pause like everybody else is. But before all this happened, we were looking to ship in the fourth quarter. It's roughly a 4 to 5 month production process. and we have the money to go into production. And so we kind of activated that system, and now we're holding off on it like everybody else.
Yeah.
But we don't have to dump a bunch of banditos into the ocean. So that's a positive thing.
That is a positive thing.
I like Apple's approach. Just fly them in the plane, you know, put them in the economy, fly all that stuff in the plane, and get it to the people. Pick it up at the airport and keep it pushing.
Yeah,
Have people with signs.
I like that too. You know, because really it's excuse me, in the long run, it's about representing the brand well. And part of that is servicing your consumer. You know, it's the most important thing, really. Especially like David says with Apple, if you take that approach, it's all about the consumer. And, you know, we've taken that approach from the beginning when there was some controversy with us and that other entity we had kind of partnered with for a minute. We just said, okay, we'll build a free pre-order. And we've just been trying to be as transparent as possible about the whole process. We've learned a lot along the way that you can't be too transparent, but, you know, it's a balancing act that I think you have to take, because you have to show people what you're doing, what you're working on. And at the same time, you can't give your competitors information about what you're doing. So,
Yeah, that's fair. So, Eddie and Kelly, how do you two come together? Like where did you guys meet? In a bar, dark dirty alley?
No, believe it or not, we met at school at design community college. Actually, you know, he was pursuing some illustration, I believe, and I was actually initially going for respiratory therapy. You know, I have a son who, when he was younger, had like respiratory issues, so I kind of wanted to learn more about it. But in the midst of it, I took some art courses. You know, kind of fell into that knack, and Kelly was in one of those classes, and then for some reason, I just told myself towards one of the end of the semesters, like, if I don't introduce myself, I know I'm going to kick myself in the ass, like, in the future. So I went over, introduced myself. I was like, yo, your art's cool. And then we just kind of got along after that. And we started talking about plans and businesses. And then that's when Otis College of Art and Design, which is a school here near LAX, which is a school that has one of the only degrees in the world that you can actually get a degree in toy design. It's like product design, emphasis in toy. So they come and they recruit some of the top artists. Kelly and I got recruited. We both ended up at Otis, and, you know, hit the fast forward button. The plan of the business starts to develop. You know, the first brand, the Chop Shop, the idea of 112 scale vehicles. We fall into the niche market, get a hold of David Vonner, and now we're collecting on pre-orders and, you know, trying to make things happen in this wild economy. So we're trying to do it, and, you know, we have plans and to set things in motion. So we have a lot going on, and, you know, we met at art school at community college.
That's awesome. Amazing. So, whose idea was it to reach out to Mr. Vonner? Like, look, we're making this figure, and I feel like David, you get this all the time. Phone rings, and you're like, oh, I know somebody wants to talk about toys real quick.
So believe it or not, I had been a big fan of like Brutal Realm, been following them around, and I know Jason. I had been talking to Jason when they were releasing concept art, and, you know, we kind of like established a connection and, you know, helped our ideas develop along the way, and saw that they had Brutal Realm, and then they reached out to David Vonner, had him on a couple of times, jumped on as project manager. And I was like, yo, Kelly, there's this guy, David Vonner. We should reach out to him. He just helped Brutal Realm go from 100 and something to fucking 370K. Like, we need to reach out to this guy. And Kelly's like, David Vonner. That sounds familiar as hell. Like, he reaches out to David Vonner, looks him up online, finds out who he is. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, I used to walk the hallways with David Vonner and have meetings with him at Mattel. And I'm like, dude, it's in the fucking stars. We need to reach out to him now. Reaches out to David, and David's project manager.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Big shout out to Brutal Realm. Big shout out to James Harkness and Jason Soleil over at Brutal Realm, man. Those guys, they're the ones that said, hey, you know, somebody may need your expertise. You know, and they showed me the links and everything. I was like, damn, that car is dope, you know. And then I immediately saw Kelly, and I was like, yo, I know Kelly. We worked together at Mattel. And it's so wild because Kelly and I used to have like these really deep conversations about stuff, not even about anything specific. Like it was about like everything, like art and culture and music and all that stuff. And the team that Kelly was on, they were like kind of considered like the assassins in a way. They were like the ninja team, you know. And I was product manager on WWE, and we would see each other all the time, and we connected, and just the conversation just grew and grew. So when Jason hit me up, he's like, hey man, somebody may need your expertise. And I was like, Kelly Greenwell, I know that dude. I know Kelly.
Yeah, it was really something, you know, for me as well too. When Jason was like, hey, you know, we're working with this guy David Vonner, and same thing, I'm like, I know David Vonner. I met him in Mattel. And like David's saying, like we'd see each other passing in the gym, then we'd be walking back, or we'd be in brainstorms together. And, you know, first of all, when you're in a brainstorm with David Vonner, even if you don't know who he is, you know, it's ideas start to come out and you're just like, whoa, who is this dude? Like, you know, this is on point. Like, this is where I want to be right now. And then we were always just, whenever I got a chance to kind of, you know, pull on his ear a little bit as we were walking wherever we were going, I'd just be like, I'm really into owning my own ideas, you know, like when I loved Mattel. It was a fun place, but it's like, you know, it's almost like a prison for creative people because they own everything you do. And I was always wanting to, you know, I loved the Image Comics model back in the day. I was devastated as a 13-year-old kid with comic ambitions that you didn't get to own your characters. And, you know, David just seemed like he'd already kind of had these same thoughts that I'd had. And we just, you know, fell into this conversation about creativity and creative ownership. And, you know, it was heartening for me to hear somebody of his caliber thinking along those lines as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the opportunity to work with him was like, it's still mind blowing to me.
Thank you, man. I mean, honestly, man, it's really all that harkens to like, I mean, obviously, like, I mean, Marvel is like, you know, I grew up on Marvel. I think we all love comics and all that stuff. But, you know, when I started working at Toy Biz, it was right when, you know, they bought Marvel out of bankruptcy, you know, so the whole team kind of had this almost like a art house kind of mentality, you know what I mean? Like even though they bought the company and everything and had to restructure, it was still this independent kind of feeling about it. And that's just never left. I always loved that feeling of either being independent or running like you are independent. And we all learn from Image Comics. I mean, you know, we've all learned from these you know, super dope artists coming together, leaving like the mothership to create their own battleship, right? And you know, I there's always been something about that, whether it's in toys and film or comics. Image Comics kind of like really set the tone of what we can do in a more like Renaissance way of actually like stepping out and being independent, like saying, hey man, like I'm going out on my own and doing this. And then with Todd McFarlane doing his thing out of that, I mean, would McFarlane Toys even exist had they not made that exodus?
Right.
You know, and it's like I just love that whole scenario, and it really combines everything into where we are now. And I mean, but it also helps that Eddie and Kelly are super talented. Like,
thank you.
And like, I mean, like really, really talented, really, really creative, and really just good people. And that's what I love. I love working with good people. Whether we make it or not, that's all relative. You know what I mean? That's all like, you know, you put into your own head what success is. But the success really is us coming together, sharing these ideas, you know, and you know, how we all came together by the grace of Mattel and Jason and Brutal Realm and, you know what I mean, Otis, you know what I mean? All that soup kind of came together, you know?
Yeah.
Now,
It's a band, you know, it's like a band. And everybody's got that same hunger and that same forward momentum. and nobody's saying that anything, something can't be done. It's like, oh, that's cool. How do we make it happen? And so
Right.
much of the toy industry is a filter of what they'll let you do, because it's a numbers game to a large degree to them. And to Eddie and I and to David, it's we're here outside of that whole world because we're passionate about building cool things that are fun. I mean, Eddie and I, for sure, for the last 4 years could have had, jobs at a toy company that are paying way more than we're making right now, but they don't let you build a toy company when you're working for a toy company. And, this is a life goal. I'm not here for a 401k. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I desperately want one. I'm just saying, I mean, I have one at the place I work now, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not looking at the end goal like that. I'm looking at the end goal as like, I want to do something that I'm passionate about with the time that I'm here.
And you know what else is cool about that? What Kelly said, like that really is what toy in the toy industry really should be. Like when you think about like Ideal, from back in the day, and like all the toys that came out of that, like I mean the Slinky, the hula hoop, you know what I mean? Like Simon Says, the original G.I. Joes. Like these things came out of not like necessarily out of like marketing meetings and product meetings, but it was like, we need to do something fun and cool.
Yeah.
And those He-Man, the Master Universe came out of that. Like we need to do something fun and cool. And now what we're seeing is everything is so, strategically aligned to films that are mediocre, or some type of cartoon or content that's mediocre. And the fun just isn't there. They're just like a rubber stamp of what you're seeing on the screen, or rubber stamp of what you're looking at on the website. But the true fun, Master Universe didn't have a website. Star Wars didn't have that stuff. You know what I mean? It was just organically fun. It was just organically fun, and bringing that fun back. Into the action vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I recall, there was like no real cartoon that had ever been based on a toy before. He-Man, right? And then it's like, well, why not? Let's do it. And they just did it. And that's the way Mattel operated back then. And, I got a chance to do a lot of like kind of research on Mattel's history when Eddie and I were at this school. And man, they rolled the dice on every idea every single time, because they knew they had winning ideas, and so they'd take the money from Barbie, roll it in onto Hot Wheels, and roll it in onto He-Man. And I got to meet a gentleman by the name of Derek Handler one time, and he was one of the OG project managers on Masters of the Universe back in the day. And he said back then, the numbers people weren't even allowed in the building. It was all creative people coming up with fun stuff, and then let the rest figure itself out. And I think that's what we're kind of trying to do, let's make the fun first.
And I gotta say, like growing up in Atlantic City, like, during the casino boom and after, like that's kind of like been it's in my DNA to just gamble, roll the dice, you know what I mean, and see where it goes, and so with the Bandito, it is like a supreme roll of the dice, you know what I mean? Like it's very big. It's at a different price point, and even like what Kelly said, earlier about, with the tariffs and everything, but we still are offering you the Bandito, even though it's in different arenas. Like, like no collectible has its own entertainment streaming service. Like none. And the Bandito was like, yo, if you get in the car, you need some tunes, you need to listen to stuff. And it just goes hand in hand. And Bandito Radio has blown completely up, not only just in its idea of what it is, but even like the quality of music artists that we have and what the music artists are putting out is by far better than, or more entertaining than, what's on Spotify right now, or Sirius right now, or whatever. Like our artists are just as good, if not better, than what you see in the mainstream right now.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Sorry, Aaron wants to talk about that. Go ahead, Aaron. Because we'll talk about Bandito Radio. I know you're dying for it, so jump in there.
I am.
I love it.
Yeah, no. So for like the people who don't know about Bandito Radio, no, we talked backstage a little bit, and I said I just added it to my Spotify right before the show started. What was the basis of coming up with Bandito Radio, and where do you see Bandito Radio going as we get further into the Bandito's life cycle?
Well, I'll let David start. He was the one that had the initial idea for sure.
I mean, honestly, it was Grand Theft Auto. No, honestly, what it really was, I had just helped my son who was 19. He's 20 now, and he had just got his car, and the first thing he did was ran and got his aux cord to plug in so he can play his music. He didn't care if the car could start. He didn't care if the car could drive. He didn't care about safety. He didn't care about anything. He just wanted to listen to his music. And then that brought me back to when I got my car, and like I just love the music. And then I'm thinking how music and the automobile is just hand in hand. So I said to the guys, like, yo, the Bandito needs like a radio station, like Grand Theft Auto, like a outlaw radio station that plays everything, like country, hip hop, electronic, whatever, punk, all that stuff. It plays everything because it's outlaw, and the Bandito is the epitome of being an outlaw. You know what I mean? So that's where it kind of came from, and it just grew from there. From having a conversation.
Yep. Yeah, and for me, with my old business, basically what I did was I contracted with bigger like home design companies to go install people's custom window coverings, like shutters and draperies and stuff like that. So I was in the car 12 hours a day, every day, and you could set your watch to Tom Petty. I love Tom Petty, but you could set your watch to 3 o'clock every day. Tom Petty was going to be on any particular radio station. And it just became boring to me. Radio is still kind of boring to me. Like they're playing the same playlist as when I was in high school.
If you I'm sorry, I'm requesting another drink, y'all. I'm sorry, Kelly. I got a hot mic. I'm sorry, I got a hot mic. I should have hit.
And so, like, what's really fun for me, like putting it together, because I put it together each week. I kind of pick the songs, just having fun, what kind of flows, because it's all different, like David said. And it's like it's so fun because I've never heard this stuff before. It's fresh, and then I was blown away by the quality of what people offered us. I mean, I'm like, there's a couple people like Ray Millie, for instance. Just she's been on the last 2 blocks, I think, and it's just she's got a lot of production behind her, really good stuff, great artist, and I'm just kind of blown away. Noel is amazing. I'm leaving out some people. Obviously, Stereo Flowers has become one of my favorite bands outside of Bandito Radio.
What was it? Is Chris Turner?
Chris Turner.
Southern Stars.
Yeah, that dude's
the list goes on, guys. The list goes on. This Bandito Radio, like David said, it started with just a simple conversation, but it turned out to be a whole idea to where Kelly and I started visualizing it as you being submersed in your world, right? So now that you buy your Bandito, you're listening to Bandito Radio, and now you're immersed, not just in front of you while you're tinkering and playing with this vehicle and setting up dioramas, but you're also listening to music, which then is going to correlate to certain events that happen in comic books. We signed we have a deal going on with Advent Comics, who's been in the comic industry for 15 years. And they're now going into like the action figure world, and we're helping them develop prototypes. The Bandito itself is going to be in the next issue of Southside, which is it's kind of like a storyline, sort of like the premise to their Punisher. Dalton Malone is their main character. We're working on that action figure. The Bandito kind of becomes his Batmobile. Okay. Kelly, Vonner, and I are going to be in the next issue as the Garage Crew, and we kind of give him the Bandito. So it's like now you're listening to Bandito Radio. Let's say something happens in the comic book, you'll hear a news bulletin on Bandito Radio that correlates to the comic. You'll hear about some news going on. You'll hear about tariffs. You might hear about this. You might hear, man, we have everything. Comedy shows. We have. I mean, it's evolving to be much much more than just that now.
Well, it's funny. Like one of the things that made Saturday Night Live so special was that it blended real commentary and real events with comedy, right?
Mhm.
And the Bandito is the same way. It's blending real events with the entertainment, with the product, so it's all seamless, and it's in full encompassing entertainment streaming thing. Like not only you listen to music, but we got action figure frequencies and also the Purple Gang. We got some new podcasts on there that's going to talk about some different types of topics and everything. We got Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness, audio dramas, man, that we all love. Frankenstein, Dracula, all that cool stuff. Mikey's joke junction. Like we got so much that it's like this is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a 24-hour service of entertainment, but it's us. Like everything was always so separate. We love the movies, and that was its own thing. We love the comics, that was its own thing. We love the music, that's its own thing. The toys, its own thing. But now we're actually bringing all that together, like whether you want to call cereal or soup or not, it's the best soup or cereal they actually eat. You know what I'm saying? It's like a gumbo, and everything. All these different ingredients are coming together to like holistically bring forth our culture. You know what I mean? Our lifestyle, our love, our passion. Because when we're drawing or tinkering or painting or whatever, we all got a head down and listening to music. It's always there. Actually, music is the soundtrack of our lives.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm fortunate enough, and Kelly's fortunate enough. Like he lived through the beginning of punk rock, and seeing it grow. And I lived through hip hop and seeing it grow. You know what I mean? Like actually, like being there. So
I was in a death metal band.
Yeah, I mean it's authentic. Like so, not only
I gotta fit that into like every podcast somehow, somewhere.
That's so important because not only is it authentic, like we're having these real artists, but we're listening with real critical ears. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that actually like make us get up and feel something. No matter what type of genre it may be, we get those little goosebumps, and then the imagination start flowing. Then we go call up our friends, like, "Yo, did you hear that?" That's what Bandito Radio does over and over and over again with every track. So, I mean, Kelly is like the ultimate radio programmer, man. I mean, like he could have been on MTV or VH1 or something like the way that everything is flowing is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm finding myself becoming the Renaissance man of all things toy industry. We're doing the radio, we're doing sculpture the next day. And it's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? For me, like, I just look at it as these are all my toys. Like, this business is my bigger plaything. And it's so fun to build and to kind of have all these guys come together around this singular vision and help it grow. I mean, it's honestly, it's the honor of a lifetime to have these particular people around me, including Alex and Chet, Deadman One, Deadly Dioramas, MLC Voice. I honestly think, and this is just us being proud of what we've done, but I think we have the best toy team in the world right now. And we're only going to expand Bandito Radio. We've got other entertainment, things coming down the pipe. I've always wanted it to be an entertainment company, and that's mostly because I wanted us to be able to tell the stories that we then build into toys. I was super inspired by Saban Entertainment. I wasn't a huge Power Rangers guys because I was more Ninja Turtles era, but I couldn't believe like this guy took this campy show and turned it into an absolute entertainment empire. He's got his hands on toys, movies, video games. And it's like, to me, that seemed like the real ultimate freedom, to be able to create in any of these kind of industries or avenues that require creative thinking and storytelling. So, the entertainment aspect of OddFrog is something that, we're very much into growing at the moment.
It's awesome. I want to throw up this slide again of kind of all the features. So, between YouTube and Twitch and X and Facebook, we have a lot of people watching right now. So you're selling this through Nerdzoic as well as Hella Dope Toys. I believe Big Nerdy's got the same deal we do. I think maybe it's
Yep.
$1 down just because that's what we had to do. Are you selling it through your site as well, or?
Yeah. Yep. The majority of our sales have come through our site, but that's just because we've been up longer. By no means are we like distributors like you guys, you know? So, yeah, that's the three main sources right now. And, but we're in talks with, you know, some of the more popular distributors. Yeah.
And don't go to AutoZone. Don't go to AutoZone. Don't go to Depot. Don't go to Goodyear. You gotta come to Hella Dope. You gotta come to Hella Dope. You know what I mean? You gotta come to some websites to get this. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Sing the gospel. Let them know.
Yeah, and you know what, you guys, huge shout out to you for taking a risk on us as a small company and putting us up there early on. Like, man, when we heard that and Ed reached out to us, it was just like, what? Oh man. So, you know, we sure appreciate it, guys. Very much.
You guys have been very, very great partners, and you know, we're looking to grow and have you guys grow with us. So thank you.
That's what we love. We love entrepreneurs, and we love people taking a chance on themselves, because that's literally all we're doing. We're just out here grinding, trying to make nothing into something. I'm going to throw up this slide, and let's try to convert some of these viewers into believers. So give them the sales pitch here. I'll turn this stuff off.
76 pieces of high impact injection molded ABS plastic, the ability to customize almost infinitely. We're going to be releasing aftermarket kits that allow you to really make the car your own. Eddie, you go.
Yeah, this is an early render of one of the concepts we developed. So the concept, basically, interchangeability is a thing. We want you to be able to tinker it like you would a real car. You know, you want you to be able to swap out the bumper, the grills, the door panels, the seats, the steering wheel, of course, the tires and the rims, the engines, the hood. Because you want to one hood has a scoop, one wouldn't. So you obviously need a different engine to fit under that. And then, of course, we have different style kits that, you know, span, I guess you could kind of say, generations. You know, you got the lowriders to the JDMs to the wide body kits that you'll see later on. So these are early renders I did myself. And then we got in contact with a very talented designer, Ami Belek Designs. You can look him up on Instagram as Ami Belek. He came up with these here. These are like a little more refined designs. And, you know, we like to keep the simplicity, but again, a simple paint job and a swap of a bumper and a grill and rims gives you a whole different vibe and style to the car. It's essentially the same base model here, but just a different paint job and then the addition of different rims and bumpers and grills, and it gives you a whole different vibe.
Eddie, tell them about the extra ports on the electrical switch as well.
So yeah, the ports, there's on the on and off switch, there's extra electrical ports that you can, you know, if you're customized savvy enough, you can solder enough more wires to, you know, add more lights and more features to the car and under the switch there. So that, you see, if you see that there, the detail in the car, the battery of the car itself is the on and off switch, and we put the batteries under the engine, and it takes 2 AAA batteries. It's all it takes, and then to power on and off the tail lights, dash lights, and the headlights, the battery of the car is the on and off switch.
Eddie at one point had added like ground effects to the low rider,
so you'll be able to add like ground effects, little extra lights to the bottom, the wheel hubs to make
the dash lights up.
Yeah, dash lights up, tails lights light up. And this would be a wide body kit that you would change the bumper and add 2 little panels to it. You know, when I was tinkering with the car, I went as far as at one point having the Bondo and sand. The prototype broke at one point, but even that just gave us further inspiration.
I broke it is what he means.
The prototype broke at one point, and so we had to repair it, right? And so I actually bondoed it and primed it and painted, and that just gave us further inspiration to be able to give you customizable parts. So you can add the fenders to this and then go ahead and repaint the whole thing and make it look like an entirely different car. So we want to give you that tabletop garage feel to where you can actually tinker with the car like you would a real car, you know. Along with your Bandito radio, you submerge yourself in this world. You're in the physical world, in the auditory world, and you're just immersed in your hobby completely. This is inspired by JDM style cars, you know, Japanese, and it's we just want to give you a wide variety of styles to appeal not only to the action figure 112 scale people who was our initial target demographic, but now that you know we see that there's more people out there who would be enticed by vehicles, obviously the car enthusiasts and the car fanatics, and you know giving you that customizability opens the doors and just gives us more room to play with. This exactly more room to play with.
Awesome. I love it. Well, we got some stuff in the chat that we're going to go through. Mostly comments, not a lot of questions. I think you guys have been pretty thorough. So we'll see what's going on with the chat. And again, guys, if you do have any questions out there in the chat, feel free to throw them up. We will star them. And we do have another chat break coming. So we will get to all those questions you guys might have.
You know, Ted, before I pop up these chats, to kind of roll back, if you, my good friend, had a one Bandito and you're cruising down the fine streets of Columbus, Ohio, what are you listening to first?
Definitely what I did the Instagram story with, and that's Bad to the Bone. Lowrider is like, you know, obviously a good choice, but that's not enough oomph for me. You know, I really need to let those fuckers know who the fuck I be. So
whatever you played in the beginning of this, that was one hell of an intro, dude. I gotta give it to you. The whole thing, I was jiving. I was like fucking hyped. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, we'll play it again at the end for anybody who missed it. We'll have that be an outro.
It'll be a nice outro. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, let me ask you that then, Aaron, because I know you got something on your mind, Mr. Music Man.
I always got something.
Yeah, you want to talk about Bandito Radio? Bring all the questions.
I know, right? You got something.
You know, I mean, you know, when I'm cruising, you know, if I'm not listening to something that's hip hop, I gotta go through something rock, and right now I'm feeling in a rock kind of mood. Nothing says let's go. Put me a little Metallica on. Maybe a little Fuel. Maybe a little Inner Sandman. You know, just something from that 90s of Metallica. You know, you can't go wrong with any of those songs that they did. But yeah, I just want you to know that I got the speakers in the car, we booming. I got the lights glowing. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But if I had to go another direction, it'd obviously be some Biggie.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of that smoke in the air. We ain't gonna talk about what that smoke is.
Right.
It's a little smoky. It's windows, baby. You know what I mean? Out the exhaust from the wheels. A little smoke.
Yeah. The exhaust smoke.
Little odd smoke.
That green.
Right. Exactly. But while we're on that subject, hi, honey, how you doing? Alexander Storm says my song that I'd be driving to the Bandito would be Let Me Ride by Dr. Dre. Another classic. That is a very good choice.
I agree with him on that, but I think I gotta go the extra with the part like the George Clinton. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I gotta hear the melody. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how the Bandito is. Like you feeling you one with the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I love where he's at. I love to Let Me Ride, but I gotta hear Let Me Ride. You know what I'm saying? I gotta hear that parliament in the background. You know what I mean? My man with the diapers on. You know what I mean? I gotta have it all.
Yes, sir. Yeah, get that P-Funk going.
That P-Funk, baby.
Deadman says he's gonna hit Bring the Ruckus by the Wu-Tang.
Okay.
Deadman, an ODB fan from back in the day.
I love it.
What's up, brother?
And also we're also working on some ODB stuff. You know what I mean? I just gotta throw that in there. So the Wu-Tang DNA is always present.
Prominent.
I mean, I can also be feeling some Cypress Hill. Like something says
Ooh,
Cypress
yeah,
Hill, you
I
know?
like
Be real and Cypress Hill.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
go
yeah.
wrong.
Be Real is my boy, and he's a good friend. So yeah, I can flow with that.
All right, I got to
Add
represent the
Bonner to my
metal a little
list.
bit, and I got to go with Black Sunshine off the original La Sexorcista by White Zombie.
Ooh, good one.
Ooh.
That's a good one. I like that
I
one.
love White Zombie too, man.
Yep.
Our good friend Largo says, by any chance, would the Bandito trunk be able to hold a couple G.I. Joe classifieds after his Action Force guys smoke them?
You know, we go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it nicely. You know, once you wrap nice bodies up nice and tight, you can fit 2, maybe 3 bodies in there. But it's definitely enough trunk space for
At least 2.
Back.
Yeah.
The Bandito doesn't fit action figures in the trunk. It fits bodies in the trunk.
That's right. That's right. I'm Italian. I'm Italian, so we had to have room in the trunk for bodies.
And you're lucky we didn't put a light in the trunk, so when you open it up, you see the Martin Scorsese joint. You know what I'm saying?
You want a leg or a wing?
Solder one in there. We can solder one in there.
But yes, to answer your question, there is lots of space in the trunk, and it's become something that we're kind of proud of. We weren't really thinking about it too much at the time, but when First Strike Figs got the car and photographed it, he talked a lot about it, just saying like, what is the deal with all this room in the trunk? But then he says, when you start to play with it and you put things in there, there's all this room for story, and it starts to become like an advantage, I guess, for shots that the trunk is wide open.
When we were at Toylanta, we wanted to put like a little speaker in there and plop it into the trunk and play Bandito radio from the speaker through the trunk.
We can do it at the SoCal Joe Show.
Yeah.
SoCal Joe Show coming up May 4th. SoCal.
Ain't nobody doing that. I don't care. I don't give a damn if you're a fan of Hasbro's, of Mattel's, of Palette. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I don't care who it is. The Bandito has something to offer that no one else has, and it's a full, encompassing entertainment experience.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think we're the first toy company in the radio space, as far as I can tell.
I'm telling you, listen, listen, we in it, baby. We signing music contracts, we making deals, we talking to artists doing it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild because I'm like, I called my mom when we first started Bandito Radio, and we got a couple artists on board to sign. I'm like, Mom, I finally got into the music industry.
No, right?
Not my own music.
Ellie's the Rick Rubin. He's the Rick Rubin of toy music.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, that's high praise.
Justin Booth says he's already paid for his Banditos.
What's up, Justin?
I like to point out that at the end of that.
Thank you, brother.
You hear a dog barking, that's Lola. She's raising hell. She's protecting her domain.
I understand.
Thank you, Justin. I mean, if you've been following us, throughout this whole thing, we're not quitting. We'll never give up. This is what we're here to do. And man, it's you guys like that just, are the reason we keep going, and we'll never stop. So thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And then Cutthroat, like I said, I had your message starred. We did miss you, my good friend. Anytime we don't see your comments in the chat, my heart breaks. And Ted, I had to console him nightly because you weren't there. So good to see you back, my good friend. Junkie on Cross and Bill says, thank you, Kelly, for the idea of those adapters. I'm sure you know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I think I did. I read the message.
And then
Eddie's nice right now. Eddie is really nice right now.
Thank you, Ed. Back at you, brother.
And then we got the Titan says, I love this Iron Age of creativity and the rise of independent creators. A very exciting time to be a collector.
Absolutely.
Lots of great stuff out there. So,
definitely on the forefront of something big. The way we're trying to combine, like Vonner keeps saying, we're trying to combine a lot of or Kelly also keeps referring to like us as an entertainment company. We're trying to combine a lot of aspects, you know, with not just the collectible itself. We're being able to incorporate that into the comic book realm. So now you have the collectible, it's integrated with the comics, and then there's also music related to it, your auditory space, and we're getting into like the whole visual space as well with independent video and movie creators, to what we're trying to develop a whole Bandito Nitro drive-in theater where we're going to showcase independent films and stuff like that as well. It's going to be, I mean,
now, if you ever need an extra for a video, I heard my face was adorable and I'm made for TV. So I'm just saying, you know,
Laser Pants just kisses your ass, Aaron. That's all it is. It's just to make me jealous.
That's what it is. That's what he likes to do.
I would just say too, to the Titan, it's a really exciting time to be a creator too. We have all this technology, we have all these kind of things we can put our fingers in and make into toy stuff, you know, and like I've kind of started realizing that it's like, okay, back in the 50s, Disneyland had to build a land for you to come to experience that kind of imagination and that wonder. And it's like nowadays, if you just kind of create an all-encompassing vibe and a feel that people can tap into, you can put that land right in their living room. And, for me, when I'm up late at night drawing, I like listening to music. I like listening to old Art Bell stuff about cryptids and creatures, and I like listening to science things, and we really want to make Bandito that thing where it's like you're up late, you got your smoke machine finally working, you got your lights in the right place, and you're just, you're doing your little odd smoke thing that David was talking about, and now you're just encompassed in your world. I've said too before that like years and years ago, when this is just an odd memory I have, but when Diablo 2 came out, me and my brother-in-law, he was my best friend at the time, now he's my brother-in-law, but we got a chance to like play it like that night before we had to get up at 4 to go to work or whatever. And then all day at work, we're talking about Diablo 2, and I wonder if you can do this, and I wondered if you can do that. And if we would have had a radio station where we could have listened to our hobby and listened to what we were into, I mean, we would have been doing that all the time. So, for me, I'm trying to think of when we're building this, I'm trying to think of if I'm at work, I want to be in my hobby, some of the music is actually about toys, like Iron Spires. That's all about like Cobra and Destro and bar fights between them and stuff. I mean, it's really some of the music is actually even about toy photography. So we got Arson Fist now, and Arson Fist is literally rapping about toy photography in some of the songs. It's so fun.
Oh yeah. Our good friend the Briscoe, our good Canadian brother, come to join us. While you guys were talking, we received a ching on the phone, and I love hearing that sound. Junkion has now become a new pre-order for the Bandito.
Oh man, thank you, Junkion. That's so cool. There you go. Wow.
Putting them on the spot. Orders on the spot. There we go.
With everything going on with the turmoil in the financial world right now, that really means a lot to us, Junkion. Thank you very much, brother. We will not let you down. We've been really cautious with everybody's money, and we're not going to stop doing that anytime soon. So thank you.
Just to add what Kelly said, and I don't mean to jump ahead, but our next topic is going to be obstacles. And honestly, man, I look at this situation that we're in right now with the tariffs and all this and all the geopolitical stuff as a challenge, not an obstacle, an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like I've been fortunate enough to be in this toy development game for a while. And I've lived through Desert Storm. I've worked through SARS and H1N1 and September 11th. I've lived and worked through pandemics. And all those things were challenges. How do you challenge yourself, to challenge your team, to challenge the company to get around these obstacles? And this is what we sign up for. So, I'm actually like, I love the fact that we're facing this, because I'm talking to factories all over the world every night. particularly our Chinese partners. And they are not only in the same boat, but they're also too trying to figure out things. So it's like
Trying to find
we're all
solutions.
connecting the dots to figure out how we can get past this or get through this, where we can still offer our products, and still deliver to our consumers. Because I mean, we're human. Trade is the part of the human existence, good, bad, or indifference. Trade is part of the human existence, and whether we're using to trade, whether it's a shell or cattle or a paper that we deem as valuable, humans will always purchase something for something. We're transactional. That's what we do. You know what I mean? So with that, all it's going to do, instead of harping on the negatives and who's wrong and all this other stuff, let's look at this as a challenge. Let's look at this as what we can do to get over this hump and actually plow some new methods, some new procedures, some new partnerships, some new relationships, so we can get to where we want to go. And that's why I love right now where the independent space is right now, because the playing field is level. The same challenges that we're having, all the major companies are having too. And I can't be more thankful for that, because now we can really show everyone why the independent space is important. Why, like this is like Napster. Like I kind of look at this the beginning of Napster. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the beginning of a revolution. You know what I'm saying? And we can really do some really cool things to not only blaze the trail, but also set a whole new standard. A whole new standard. This is like the ABA creating the 3-point line or the dunk contest. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the Super Bowl. This is the implementation of the Super Bowl. We could do so many things that can be groundbreaking, innovative, and change the game. I'm not worried at all. I love it. I love where we are right now.
Yeah, we're like I said, David's exactly right. We are in a very fortunate position to where we haven't started production in any place, right? And so we can just continue to take orders until things are resolved or we figure out another avenue to go. And I mean, we're all on OddFrog paying attention very closely to what's happening with manufacturing, obviously, like every other company. But it's kind of more than just that, right? So like a lot of the talk is like, oh, well, we can go to Vietnam. Okay, fine. But Vietnam has one port. You already know Mattel and Hasbro are going to be going to Vietnam. And if they put their stuff in there, your stuff is not going out of that single port for at least 9 months to a year and a half. So but there's other options, and that kind of thing, just finding out that kind of stuff and learning about that kind of stuff gives you other options. There's Cambodia. Cambodia has been itching for a decade to take some of that manufacturing control from China. And I think that what this does is it opens up opportunities where they're, it's like the banks going under. You don't bail them out, excuse me. There's a lot of smaller banks that have had to keep on their, cross the T's and dot the I's, that are ready to come up and take that business. And I think it's the same thing in the manufacturing world where, there's companies out there that can do a good as job, but they've never been given the opportunity because they're just bowled over by these big industrial powers. So I think it's about finding those little hidden gems, and Eddie's been kind of brilliant at this too. Just finding things like on a budget that we can help to further along our projects, whether that's articulation or engineering. There's avenues that you can find where people are hungry for the work and they're hungry to do a nice job for you.
But you know what else though? Like, it's like, hey, the manufacturing is fighting that fight, but the Bandito, the brand, the experience is still available. Like now it's like, hey, manufacturing and the tariffs and all that may cause a little bit of a speed bump, but now it's like Chris Turner, Ray Millie, Noel, you know what I'm saying? Iron Spires, like those are the ones that's actually carrying our thing forward. So it's like now we just have to change what it actually means to deliver a product. Our product is the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So, and what we're doing is actually like, hey, one thing may have to back up, but we have the backup coming to the forefront. You know what I mean? And that's why with the Bandito, the overall product experience of the Bandito is a grand experience because you can't pinpoint was number one. You know what I mean? You can't pinpoint where we're going to come to or for to deliver to the consumer or even throw on us what is a negative what's going on in the world. We're still delivering. Kelly
It's like, yeah,
Kelly puts in so much manpower into delivering Bandito Radio. You know what I mean? We got Mike Cantrell, who is like, I mean, I hate to kind of say it because it's like giving, it's like wrestling, right? You're saying wrestling,
giving alter
you know what I
ego.
mean, is entertainment, but like he's our Holland Jim Jackson, and that right there, that voice, that mantra, when you hear Holland Jim Jackson at the beginning of the Bandito Radio, that's the essence of the Bandito. You know what I mean? He's not talking about all these other things. He's talking about the Bandito first. You know what I mean? So that is still the product that's still being launched, still being talked about, still, still in the forefront of the consumer's mind, of the collector's mind. So it's like we're still delivering. And I think that, having the fortunate ability that Kelly and I had of working with Mattel, we really got the inside baseball on how you make your business continue to grow despite all the obstacles, despite all the challenges, despite all the the different geopolitical stuff, despite all the social stuff. Like we can still move forward and still deliver our product, our brand in the best light possible, and you can still get that same experience. And then when you actually get the Bandito in hand, that's just the cherry on top.
Yeah,
that's the cherry on top.
Yep.
For sure. It's like you're still creating that experience. You're still creating that want and that need and that environment, right? The Bandito may not be in hand yet, but we're still trying to create that environment for it to live in with the Bandito radio and the hype. And now the Bandito has evolved from that. Now, again, the Bandito is going to be in the issue of the next South Side, and it's going to be Dalton Malone's, in a sense, comic book. So now there's more story behind the Bandito. Now it's being developed more. Like Vonner says, it may be a speed bump, but it allows us to build more hype and more desire and more want into the Bandito. Allows us to go refine details in it and make changes that we may want to take from suggestions and ideas and other vehicles that didn't do so well. We can now implement changes and do what we may need to create a better product. This is just a slight speed bump. It's not the end of anything. It's just only going to make it better and create a better product. I mean, now you're going to have your own radio station to listen to. Imagine you open up your box, you got the Bandito, you launch into the next edition of Bandito Radio, and now it's starting to talk about the Bandito in the next comic book. Like it's like you're listening to the product. It's gonna be intense.
And who's to say? Who's to say that the Bandito itself may not have a music festival, right? Where at that music festival you can sell Banditos, you can sell in Bandito Radio, you can showcase our artists, you can showcase maybe Bandito may turn into a festival where everyone behind us can be able to reap the benefits of what it is that we're doing right now. Who's to say? And that's why I love these guys and all the guys, all the people that I work with, because it's like, man, we have to be forward thinking, and everyone that I work with is on board with thinking forward. Like forget all the obstacles, forget all the like I'm done being scared. You know what I mean? I'm not scared anymore. It's like at this point in my life, I'm like, yo,
what's the next obstacle to get over?
Right. It's the next one. I'm the Hulk beating the hell out of Superman.
Well, I appreciate you guys being positive about it, because one thing Aaron and I talk about on here a lot is We are thankful that we're still so small, because whenever a challenge faces us, we get to deal with it on a small scale as opposed to a big scale, where if we blew up overnight, now we're dealing with these problems, but they've been magnified and they're way more intense. So we get to learn how to deal with all these issues while we're still small, and it's not able to break us, as opposed to, you know, if we were doing millions of dollars and then something unexpected hit at us and we didn't even know how to handle that. So yeah, I mainly what I wanted here, and you guys touched on a lot of this already, was, like I said, you you've come out of nowhere and you've had to grind from literally nothing, and you're just out there swinging every single day. And I think that's an inspirational story to a lot of people. Like, there's going to be a lot of people on the tail end of this, when you guys are doing well and you are successful, that are going to say they were there all along. But there are people with you now, backing you from day one, rooting for you and cheering you on. And I think that's really cool. They're there for your hard times. They're there when the Kickstarter doesn't go well. They're there when you have to do delays. And meanwhile, you guys are literally pivoting. You're pivoting with Bandito Radio. You're pivoting with the entertainment aspect of it. And I do think that's very creative, because most people would just kind of probably sit and mope and be like, sorry guys, I can't do anything. And then what, run out of money, I guess. I don't know, have the fan base turn on you. And yet there are these delays and there are these challenges, and here you are, you're out there doing something different.
You know why I love
Thank you.
hip hop and punk rock is because those two genres were started by poor people.
DIY.
Poor people.
Suicidal tendencies.
Absolutely. They had to do what they wanted to do with the resources that they had, which was limited.
Had to get it done.
And get it done. And like, hip hop started not from like records and gold chains and all that. It started from rent parties. You know, people trying to you know pay for their rent. It started from like, we need to buy school clothes. That's how hip hop started. It didn't start from the top. It started from the bottom. And when we come from that and understand that, now we can be able to have, number one, no fear, and everything that we do is going to be a plus. You know, I'm looking at Largo's Lair when he says we'll hella dope be offering some thick girls and everything for the Bandito. Well, actually, honestly, you know, we're going to be doing Ray Millie, who is our artist on Bandito Radio. We're going to do a figure of her. We're going to do Myra's Morgue. You know what I mean? Myra, who is our number one, you know, she is our horror mistress. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's it. You know what I mean? And not only that, but everything else we have to offer that's going to totally flip the gambit of what should be an action figure or what should be an action figure vehicle. We're doing that. We're doing it. So
shout out to Killer Kawaii Design, our Myra. She's our Elvira.
She's super dope. She's super dope.
She does a lot of our prototyping prints and stuff too. She's kind of a master printer at this point as well. So she does a lot for OddFrog. You know, and just to continue off what David's saying, and then to, you know, what you said, Ted, I relate to so much about, you know, being small and learning small, is like, you know, thinking about the Bandito 3 years ago, if it would have blown up and we hadn't gone through this battle together, all of us, you know, we wouldn't be as wise, first of all, as we are right now. We wouldn't be as strong. I think it's like, yeah, you gotta face that fire. You gotta be small so that you can learn those mistakes before they're big mistakes. And so I just I wanted to touch back on that real quick, because I really relate to that. I know Eddie does. And you know, it's just, I've said before, it's like, I'm glad it didn't blow up at the beginning. We're such a smarter company now that we've had to really learn how to market ourselves, really learn how to jump over hurdles and, you know, go to battle together. So yeah, I relate to that.
Awesome. Eddie, did you have anything you wanted to add to that before I move us along?
No, I'm just grateful for the experience. You know, it allowed us to become a stronger company, in a sense, become a stronger product and vision. And I think that's going to carry over to the final rendition of the Bandido, along with Bandito Radio, the kits that we've been developing. It's going to be a wider experience than just a vehicle. You know, action vehicles, we coined that term in the beginning to because we wanted it to be more than just a vehicle. We wanted you to be able to experience it and play with it, and in itself hosts a bunch of action. And you know, just developing the radio around it and the environment, it's becoming a whole world you can definitely immerse yourself in. And you know, people spend hours in their lairs, in their basements, in their garages. You know, that's kind of where the 112 garage kind of stemmed from. You know, secluding yourself, but then, you know, it's a place where you can relax and do things, you know, that you like to do. Your toy photography, your customizing, your tinkering. And now, you know, with the evolution of what's been going on in Bandido Radio, it's just another dot to connect in this, you know, ever evolving picture. And, you know, I think once we connect all the dots, it's going to be pretty goddamn rad. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know what happened to David there. He got sucked into the void. Maybe the
I think
lightning round timer
yeah,
ran
go
out.
get another drink. Get another drink.
Well, before we move on, Aaron, do you want to hit a few more chats? I know we have a lot in there, and then we'll go for the final chat break after. Towards the end
Yeah. This kind of follows in with the Bandito Radio.
Yeah.
3-star draw says, you mentioned GTA as inspiration. Is there anything parody type, like commercial skits like they had in GTA?
So yeah, we're doing all that. We have like contracts with, like, we have a radio station. We did a live show at a radio station, so we plan on doing all sorts of skits. And, you know, like, let's pretend in one of the latest issues of, you know, the OddFrog comic, a bank is robbed, right? The bank got robbed. And then we actually have on one of the blocks, there's this absurd commercial of Mikey, our guy, you know, he's like, the Bandito was seen speeding away from a bank robbery. So there's absurd commercials that correlate directly to everything you're living in. You know, there'll be absurd commercials. There'll be car wash commercials. There'll be action figure frequencies. You know, they've done a few commercials for us, and one of them is like, you know, imagine you're late night and you're like, you know, chilling, and you need like something to boost you up. You know, you have action what is it? Figure fuel.
Figure fuel.
Like the Red Bull that you know, figure fuel is like Red Bull, and you bust your figure. You know, we have absurd commercials with, you know, pending products that, you know, may develop from it. So it's kind of fucking cool. You know, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, totally. We've got one in there right now just to kind of show you what we want to continue to expand is the interaction between the comic stories we're telling and the radio itself, as if they're real. So one of them is Howlin'. It's not Howlin' Jim. It's like an old school old school news report, breaking news. And we're talking like this. The Bandito was seen, you know, and I kept telling him more Hindenburg. You know, the humanity. I'm like,
the humanity.
That's exactly what you just did. Yeah, 6 or 7. You'll hear it, man. It's like out of nowhere, you hear these spurs of moments that wake you up, you know, and you know, then the whole beat drops, and then the new music, and then it's death metal, and then the beat drops again, and you're listening to hip hop, and then so you just have various inspirations, and it's a whole world we're developing that's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Chet Maddox and Alexander Stone. I mean, because not only are they great partners and like-minded individuals, but they're also part of our marketing arm, our marketing and media arm. You know what I mean? So they're taking it, you know, our love and our passion, and they bought into it, and they are, you know, taking what they do in their area of expertise and pushing OddFrog Entertainment to a whole new level. You know what I mean? And this is going to benefit us as a whole, not just OddFrog and not just me, but all of us who's on board. We can all go there together. You know what I mean? This the caravan of love, baby. And we're actually assembling the right people with the right expertise, with the right passion and the right business acumen to actually push ourselves forward. So big shout out to Chet and Alex.
Yeah,
man.
huge shout out to Chet and Alex. I mean, those guys have been to battle with us now. You know what I mean? They were the cavalry, actually, or cavalry. They drove across the United States to go and brought all their equipment to live broadcast at Toylanta, and then drove all the way back.
And that's a whole other story in of itself. That's a whole podcast in and of itself.
Documentary for Nitro Drive-In. Yeah. But really a shout out to that whole SKN crew. Like, they had me on their show, 6 months ago or something. And it's just like, oh, you just start to realize, wow, this is a really well put together presentation. And then you realize there's behind the scenes stuff. And, they just had such a clockwork kind of thing that they started, that when the Bandito radio idea came up, they were the first guys that popped into my mind. And it was like, what do you want to do? Like, you guys already, have your thing down. So whatever you want to do, just bring it to us and we'll do it. And I just think Action Figure Frequencies is so interesting. It's topical. I can listen to it while I'm at work, so I know other people can. And major shout out to our brothers out there.
And I gotta say that the Cutthroat Comics, don't be trying to throw no shade on us. We didn't have a Kickstarter that didn't fund because we haven't launched a Kickstarter yet. So don't even try it. Don't even try to ease in your little remark. Nah, bro. No, we haven't launched the Kickstarter yet. So therefore,
the Bandito
didn't fund.
Early on, the Bandito, we did try to do a Kickstarter, but I mean, we're talking 2.5 years ago. We had like 200 followers on Instagram. Of course,
the Vonner effect. Goddamn it.
yeah. Now we got the gravitational wave of David Vonner. So,
I mean, if it really boils down to why the Kickstarter didn't fund
right now.
Yeah, I mean, we had like 300 followers.
Yeah.
It was like a small original, like. We literally had a handful of followers and a handful of people who knew about us. We had no marketing. It was me and Kelly, and we did it all on, what we learned, and it was more of a learning experience, But yeah, we did have a Kickstarter. Again, like Vonner just said, we didn't have Vonner on board. We had an audience of maybe 200-300 people back then, and I think we secured we secured all our money within the first few hours of it. And, that was all our audience, that's all we had because that's all who knew of us. And then we tried to share and then we tried to go, but it's like, we're growing now. We're still here. We haven't just disappeared. There's been various companies who didn't have successful first Kickstarter funds. If you go back and you want to break it down like that, as to why we didn't successfully fund the first time, we didn't have any marketing. We had an audience of 300-400 people, and for our goal, for the goal that we had set, 300, it was just we had set a way too high goal for the amount of people that knew what we were doing.
Exactly. And we had all the controversy with the 112 garage guy who stiffed us and left us with $10,000 in debt that we had to pay to our engineer and figure out that whole problem, So, it wasn't because we didn't have a great product, and that was the thing, right?
I think that was just the initial question,
Yeah, it was just like, okay, well, we've got this great product, so what? Kickstarter didn't work. It's still too good to let die, so that's when we started the free pre-order thing. So,
I mean,
we just had a small audience.
We're like the Nike of toys, man. Nike wasn't a success.
Nike started as a track shoe at some school, right? That was all it was. It was one track shoe at a school.
Every successful thing is built on a chain of failures. You just don't stop. Winston Churchill said, success is the ability to move from one failure to another without a loss of enthusiasm. And that's all we've done.
And we just keep modifying and changing and, jumping over obstacles. Yeah, we're just jumping over all the obstacles, modifying the product.
From the back of a tow truck ramp.
Yeah, that was a good question though. Yeah, we just had a small audience. That was it. People didn't know us. You know, it was surprised to see how many people did know us after we got to Toyland, and how many people didn't know of us, which was also a surprise.
Yeah.
And those who came across us were just like, wow, this is fucking rad. And you guys have a radio station, like, so cool. And like, many pre-ordered then and there, and we had one pre-ordered tonight. But yeah, we just
big shout out to you, Eddie. Like, yo, you were doing like some Toy Fair level quality pitching,
Oh,
bro.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he went
man.
into a phone booth and put on his Toy Fair Superman costume and
For
came
real.
out and was flawless.
For hours.
Yeah.
For hours.
Thanks,
For
man.
hours,
I
bro.
think, yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, I kind of came to me, so I enjoyed it, and I think it's something I'm gonna enjoy doing in the future as we continue to go to more fairs and more displays and more conventions, and
We're gonna make you a
do our
star,
thing,
Eddie.
man. Thanks, man. I like it. I like it.
Awesome. Well, I can't have Mr. Vonner on the show without talking about For the Culture, and I really want to give you a few minutes to speak on it, because I know this is not only just like a mission in life for you, but it's a call to action for equality, mentorship, equity in the toy industry, comic industry, independent people industry. And I really wanted to give you a few minutes to kind of build awareness to what you're out there fighting every single day when it's not related
Yep.
to action figures.
I'll try to keep it short, but when you look at, if you're watching this podcast, or you know, we take a image of all the individuals in here laughing, joking, knowing the inside baseball, knowing the inside joke, that's For the Culture, man. It's like, I grew up I'm an only child. I don't have any blood brothers or sisters, but the people who come into my life, they're my siblings, they're my brothers, they're my sisters, right? And I get to build my family. And that's basically what For the Culture is, man. Like, I lived through when this comic stuff and geek stuff wasn't cool. It just wasn't cool. But I've always stayed true to it. And just like you guys stay true to it. And that's what For the Culture is, man. Whether we step up and voice, our opinions, if we step up and connect with each other, to do something, to jump out on Front Street, like, hey man, like, let's do it, or let's take a page out of so and so's notebook and do it. Whatever it is, like, that's what For the Culture is. We are a communal species. Like, you just can't deny that. And even though there's been instances in history that try to, make our communal experience obstacles, we always find a way to get past that, to get past the gender, the color, to get past the size, the shape, to get past all that. And that's what I mean by For the Culture, and I love toys. I've always loved toys. I've always loved comic books. I always loved cartoons. I always loved to be able to, like, enjoy the entire day with just stuff that made me feel good. And to be in the business of making other people feel good with the things that we produce, is, to me, there's an extra, incentive to keep on going. The one thing about Marvel, and I mean, I was a kid that got in trouble for bringing comic books to school, bringing my action figures to school. The one thing about toys and comic books in general is that it brought so many people together. And I say this at every convention I'm in, we all could have been best friends. We all could have been best friends, like talking and vibing and wearing the stuff, sharing the stuff, and I love that we are at the point now where if you haven't experienced an Avengers movie or saw Batman, or don't know who Alfred is, then you're kind of like, you're lacking. You're not even part of it. And I view this whole renaissance like, Elvis doing his pelvis thing, you know what I mean? Or Jim Morrison on the Ed Sullivan Show doing Light My Fire, and actually, like, blowing the minds of people. The first time people saw George Clinton in Parliament Funkadelic, the first time someone heard Guns N' Roses, the first time someone experienced hip hop, the first time someone experienced, like, their first alcohol sip. You know what I mean? Like, I love that we all can have that and share that and they actually turn that into multiple forms of experiences. So that's why I'm all about for the culture, man, because this is all of us. You know, despite everything, we're still we are a communal species doing communal things, and that in itself is for the culture.
Amen.
I'm going to
Yeah,
say,
I mean, along those notes, it's like I find myself personally having so much more in common with people that have my like interests in mind. You know what I mean? It's not about what community I grew up in or anything like that. You know, and metal was a huge eye opener for me like this, because metal, especially here in LA, it's very diverse and like everybody's a brother because you're all there celebrating the same thing. And yeah,
No different.
you know what I love when we watch like a movie like Star Wars. The first time, like the first time I saw Star Wars in 1977, it was the most awful experience ever. You know, my cousin wanted to have the stereophonic sound, and we sat in the front of the theater, and the sound was just blowing me. I was in tears the whole fucking movie. But then my mom took me to see it again. We sat in the back of the theater. And that was the first time where I actually extracted myself from being a movie viewer to viewing everyone in the movie.
Mhm.
And when you're sitting in the theater and watching a movie and everyone is into it, like you see, we're all like have the same anticipation. We all have the same fear. We all have the same suspense. We all have the same love. We're laughing and everything. And it's a total, you know, just eclectic mix of individuals. You know what I mean? And no one is worried about the surface stuff. No one is worried about the surface stuff. And one of the things about toys is that it is the through line throughout society. One of the few things that's the through line that connects us all. We either love the toy, or wish we had a toy, or we can relate to a toy that we all love. And that never really leaves you. It never leaves you, even when you're an adult, which is why I don't like the whole kid versus collector thing. Man, screw all that. Kids love the same thing that adults do. The same thing. If a cool car pulls up, kids are going to have their mouths open. Adults are going to have their mouths open. You know what I mean? When Kiss first came out, kids love Kiss and adults love Kiss, like, because they just was awesome. You know what I mean? So it's like the thing about toys is such a connective tissue for all of us that, you know, it just brings an instant safe space where we can talk, where we can commune, build. Some of the most beautiful friendships I've ever established in my life is through the toy industry, from fans. Like, and I will mention this. You know, a lot of guys love or hate Charlemagne's Prime, right? Me and Charlemagne, like my first interaction with Charlemagne was like somebody at Hasbro need to get punched in the face because they're destroying Marvel Legends. I was like, yo, now you dealing with a real dude. Like I'm not one of these Tucket, Rhode Island folks. I'm from South Jersey, from Lang City. So I was like, yo, you want to try to threaten me, then I'm gonna show up where you at. You know what I mean? And then we could talk about it. But the flip side to what Charlemagne said, and that was the voice of the community. Like, you know, I hate what you guys are doing. Like, make us feel like we want to get behind it. We're behind you. Make us feel like we're counted. And when I talked to him, and I'm telling you, when I got laid off at Hasbro, he's the first dude and the only dude, and I may be the only designer to actually have a petition to get hired because of what the love was. You know what I mean? Like, he put himself out there and he put a big spotlight on my back that I, you know, really didn't want. But I think I needed at that time. I needed that, even though I didn't know I needed it. And that was the community. Charlemagne was part of the community. And whether you hate him or love him or whatever, this dude is, he became the voice of the voiceless in a sense. And all I could do is be able to try my best to deliver what it is that they're complaining about or want or desire. You know what I mean? And I didn't know Charlemagne's from a can of paint. I didn't know him. But you know, now it transcends from him being a fan to like, yo, I give him life advice. I'll talk to this dude. You know what I mean? Like
He's on
like
Bandito Radio.
he's on Bandito Radio. You know what I mean? And it's like, forget what you on the surface, what you think of him or whatever. We're all the same individual. We're all the same individual. And that's what I love about where we are. And that's what I love about for the culture and why I spread that. Because we're still the same, we're all the same individual. You know, like regardless of the skin tone or the shape or whatever, we still love all the same things. And I think the hippie in me believes that since we all have this shared love, then maybe, just maybe, our love for toys can be the thing that can push society forward. Maybe this can be the thing. Instead of war, instead of confliction, instead of misrepresentation, maybe toys can be the catalyst to bring us all together.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. That was incredible and inspiring. I appreciate you sharing it because you post it all the time, and I don't feel like people always, get the true value behind it. So,
Thank you,
man, we skipped a bunch of stuff in the chat. Aaron, you don't have to. Aaron, we can. No, you guys are good. Y'all are here to talk. I'm just sitting here chilling.
I'll keep talking. Let's keep going.
Aaron, do you want to? I guess we probably don't need to hit every single thing that I start, but definitely
throw some up there from the chat.
The important things.
Yeah. We'll get a couple up there.
there is a lot. There is a lot in there.
Yeah. Trusted Screamer says, I'm very interested in this for toy photography. Obviously, we're talking about the Bandito.
Perfect. That's we have many products aimed at toy photography, not only the Bandito, but victim heads from Dead Man 1, which are like background characters for toy photography that completely alter the expression of your characters by providing a wide variety of expressions for your toy photography. So yeah, you might check those out too.
Tons of heroes, tons of villains, but if you're going to tell a story through toy photography, you got to have victims. There's that whole tension. There's no tension there if you don't have that victim in the background. Exactly. And here at OddFrog, kind of the main vision, as David touched on, is that we want to help other creators bring their toys to life in the sense of how Image Comics did it, right? Like at Mattel, they want to own everything you do 24 hours a day. We don't really want to do that. We have our own ideas. And, if we can help get people's ideas off the ground, that's just even reflects better on us. And Deadman had this great idea, and it was kind of further proof. We could pursue it as like proof of concept with our idea that this is his property and he's teaming up with us to kind of help make it a reality. And then, of course, Deadman is one of the greatest guys ever, and he's putting all the proceeds towards the Bandito production for the time being. But, so it was just a cool way to kind of proof of concept that partnership and that idea of bringing other creators in and not necessarily owning outright all the intellectual property.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, Kelly, because I kind of want to make an announcement. I'm sorry, Eddie and Kelly, if I speak out of turn.
Oh, please do.
But because of this, one of the things that OddFrog Entertainment is also doing is that we're a service to this community. Not only do we have Bandito Radio or launching our own product, but we're actually a service for, if you are a new independent creator, you want to get your prototype off the ground, we're actually manufacturing here in the US. That's what we're doing. That's what we want to bring. So like when it's like for us, by us, these two individuals, Kelly and Eddie, have taken that and we're going to extend that. So it's like we're a one-stop shop. You know what I mean? If you want to get your prototype done, come to OddFrog. If you want to get your product done, come to OddFrog. If you want to get your marketing done, come to OddFrog. You want to get some content, come to OddFrog. Come to us so we can be the launch pad of your experience. You know what I mean? And this is how we all grow. Like, we can't just talk about this stuff and not have an actual solution. The solution really is OddFrog. You know what I mean? Kelly is really doing a disservice about talking about how much this dude is up 24 hours a day. Eddie is up 24 hours a day because they're not only working on their things, they're actually working on some other things for other creators to help them get to the forefront. And that's what we want to do. We want to be a service, not just to ourselves, but to the community at large.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. We're working with a couple of teams right now. And then, in fact, I have to get back to them, but somebody reached out to me from Toylanta, I believe, was on in the crowd at the panel that has an idea he wants to work on. And it's like, yes, you know what I mean? These things take a long time to develop. Yeah. These things take a long time to develop. And that's kind of the main thing, you know, that people need to understand is it's a process. And you know, your artwork may be great, but it may not be the, you know, just normal toy industry stuff where it goes through a lot of filters to get there, but it's filters that are professional and it's what leads to the marketplace. So, yeah, I'm really excited about a team I'm working with right now. I can't even really talk about it without giving away the idea, but, they know who they are and we're having a lot of fun. And what I've noticed is, allowing a team to come in and start pitching ideas and then just watching the conversation happen in the group chat. Yeah. It's the toy industry and they've never been in the toy industry. They're brainstorming constantly. It's not like people don't have ideas and can't come up with this stuff. They just don't have the facility to get it made. Right. And, you know, we do. And once we get our first product to market, you know, we can really show that we can make something premium and quality. It's the most important thing is to put it in people's hands so they can see what it is we're actually talking about, which was another reason for Dead Man One's toy photography tour, right? Which was hugely successful. And we're going to be doing that again here real soon. But it put the car in people's hands. And now we have them, you know, literally talking about it to other photographers. You can see the videos and stuff on our YouTube or our website where it's like, oh, wow, this really is something different. And that's what we want to show.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of the good thing that I think a lot of people would want to hear, you know, a different outlet to try and get their creative ideas into market and maybe not even a large market, you know, just something that says, hey, I got this brainchild that's been stewing for so long.
Yeah. Now it doesn't even have to be 112 or toy photography. You know what I mean? Like one of Eddie and I's first contracts was to do 500 plush dolls for the LA Chargers.
Yeah. That was,
you know, so, and having the experience along with David and Eddie of working in the industry, you have an idea what can get done, and really anything can get done. You just have to help guide these creative people into what is like when Eddie and I went to school, it was all about design for assembly, right? And if you can design for assembly, your design is going to come out more like you had it planned if you understand how to design for assembly and design for manufacturing. So we just figured it's like, oh, you got a great idea. Let us be the filter of how you need to do it to design for assembly and get it in a mainstream, you know, market.
Well, I'm going to throw this up real quick. Our good friend, Mr. Wonderful, founder of Hexastack, would love to chat with you guys. So,
Kelly at OddFrogEntertainment.com. I'd love to hear from you, bro.
Travis, we can send that to you, man. We can send you all the
do it.
Absolutely, please do. I'd love to hear
about
the
emails already. So
I mean, I'll just tell you, the first thing we do is we sign an NDA so that everybody can talk, and we go from there.
Alexander Storm says the kits to these apart from any 112 vehicle on the market,
and that's the whole purpose. You know, we when we saw the engines of vengeance fail, you know, they were targeting one particular vehicle, right? And there's vehicles on the markets that target various specific aspects, specific characters, specific genres. And our whole idea is to provide you with a literal action vehicle, action figure, action vehicle, just like you would a real vehicle. The ability to customize it with kits, change the paint, add this, add that, swap this, swap that, paint it this color, add these decals, add these racing stripes, and if essentially make it completely your own vision. So yeah, thanks, man. That definitely sets us apart.
Part of the thing too was Eddie and I didn't really price this thing to make any money, right? Like we wanted people like ourselves to be able to buy it. Excuse me. And the main goal was just to get into the marketplace where we could show the premium design and quality of the materials. And then we'd open up, our action figures and our comic book and stuff like that. But somewhere along the line, it occurred to us, wait a minute, if we can offer aftermarket, we have 76 pieces of this car. If we can offer aftermarket kits that allow you to swap it up, well, then we extend the kind of evergreen property of the car. And maybe we can actually, kind of develop a little bit of business around the vehicle that we literally priced with no profit in mind for ourselves in. So
that definitely has evolved to the idea of like a tabletop garage, allowing you to order pieces and various, maybe just rims, maybe just seats, whatever you may need to swap out on your Bandito. We intend to offer some sort of swappable, interchangeable something to be able to customize on your Bandito.
Ed says they want to hear the story about how the prototype broke.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Ed.
So, Ed, a quick recap.
You go ahead, Eddie. You tell it.
So I think it was gonna be probably.
They broke on these amazing abs and shit. You see that?
You gotta throw them on.
That's how they broke.
If they were rock hard like those abs,
ran over the washboard.
But yeah, I think it was gonna be on our very first pot. We had just gotten it in from China. We had to pay like $400 to have it shipped in. Then for some random reason, they charged us another so $800 to have it shipped from China on top of the $3,000 prototype. It was ridiculous. Anyways, so it's on this way to our first live podcast
with Dead Man 1 and Toy Mercs.
Dead Man 1 and Toy Mercs. So Kelly grabs the box.
And Dead Man,
our fault, right? We didn't.
Dead Man holds your feet to the fire too, So I'm like, I gotta have this perfect. I gotta show these guys.
Yeah, basically, it just kind of, we put it in the box. It rolled from it like. So in the box, it's seated in the box, and it just kind of rolled out one side of the box, head over heels, lands on the top, and it just smashes. And then that's when a lot of the customizability kind of came into play and being able to paint it. I had to literally bondo. I bought car bondo, and I bondoed some of the pieces that were missing, and I sanded it, and I primed it, and I sanded it again, and it on our first live, before it made it to our first live podcast, it broke, and there might be pictures and videos from that first show, but it's pretty smashed up.
But you know what? Back to like kind of what you were talking about earlier, Ted, with like growing small and learning small. We couldn't afford another prototype at that point. I mean, I wanted to cry so bad. It was devastating.
We did. I just sat down and laughed. I was like, there's nothing we can do, bro. Like,
thank God for Eddie, man, because I was heartbroken and he took it all so well.
I sat on the floor, crisscross applesauce, collected the pieces, and I was like, we're going to make it work, bro. Like, yeah. So, like, what's next?
What we did, we built our own prototype. We got the printers together. We got the files together. We printed it out. And, I don't know if you've ever tried to print a 20-inch long car before. It's not easy. We had to cut it into 3 pieces. The first time we cut it into 3 pieces, we just cut it straight through. So then when you go to put it together, it's all stupid to try to put together correctly. So that taught us to kind of notch out our cut in the print. Then you could lock it together and bondo and do it all. So that really put us through the rigors of building a 76-piece, very complicated, extremely tight tolerances prototype that, now we can extend that kind of
literally. Ability. So we had a prototype built and made in China, smashed, and then we had to make our own because we couldn't afford another one. So
putting an action figure prototype together is much less complicated than 76 piece 112 action vehicle. It's a lot. And since then we've done action figure prototypes and statues and things like this. But I would just say it's one of those things where you don't let it stop you. You just figure out how to overcome.
For sure. So yeah, right. Since that first one broke, we've made about two Banditos. We have about two almost solid Banditos that we've prototyped ourselves. Again, we're not super great engineers, but hey, for getting started, we've managed to put them together, and they're functioning. They're good, and for prototypes, they managed to drop some jaws at Toylanta. So we're right there with them.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna speed through a couple of these. Mainly, they're talking about what songs they would play if they had their.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite. Let's do this.
James Lucas obviously gonna play some Pac, some Hell Thug. I like it. Ed says he's gonna be bumping some Radio Love.
Yeah, Radar Love, man. Like Golden Earring.
Largo's busting my chops. Apparently, I'm actually going to be playing Houdini's The Freaks Come Out at Night.
Oh, I like that one.
I was just joking with y'all earlier. My other options, it's really going to be Houdini.
The greatest hip hop video ever. If you want to experience what hip hop is about, that video explains it. Explains it.
Our good friend Fatrix, he's going to be bumping some Rough Riders
Anthem. Rough Riders Anthem. Rest in peace, DMX. Woof, woof.
Yes, sir. The Titan says he agrees with Mr. Bonner. Some funkadelic can work, but he's gonna bring that LL Cool J phenomenon.
Booming systems, LL booming system. Yeah, some LL in there. I can get that.
Ed wants to know. I think you mentioned it before, but just to confirm, comic book still coming?
Yeah, it is. I'm actually about 5 pages from being done inking the comic book. It's 64 pages. It went from 24 to 64 just because I had more story to tell, frankly.
We want some content.
And, I wanted to give some meat on the bones for our first offering as far as the comic book goes. But yeah, I would say 58 pages are inked. And I know at one point I skipped ahead to drop page 61 because it was like really cool and monstery. So I've only got like 4 or 5 pages left to ink, and then I got to put all the dialogue in and stuff. Will probably take a month or so. But
once again, Kelly is being super modest. Like, I'm telling you, people,
this artwork,
the pages that Kelly has showed us, what he is cranking out, is on some next level. Like, if you want classic Ninja Turtles, if you want some classic Marvel, if you want some classic action, like your comic book having action, not just pretty images, but actually action and storytelling, Kelly has done that. Everything he showed us, my mind is blown. I mean, it is sequential art. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what Kelly has been doing is what comic books is all about. Action. Suspense, the sequence of it, the storytelling of it, the cool art of it. Bro, I mean, he's being modest. Homeboy has done
Thank you, David.
Homeboy has done it, and I cannot thank you, Kelly, enough for bringing that passion back to comic books, bro. I'm so sick and tired of the beautiful covers. I'm sick and tired of the splash page that's beautiful. Those aren't doing anything for me. I want to know what's going on in the story. I want to see some action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Kelly has been generating some pages. I'm drawing and inking and writing pages that are action packed. Every panel action packed. Bro, you're doing it.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. This is the first I've heard David say anything about it, so I'm really touched. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I mean, comics was my first love. As a kid, when I would see, really it probably started with McFarlane. When I say McFarlane. When I saw some of the stuff he did, like Hulk charging through garbage, and it was just loaded with shit. I could not believe what I was looking at. And it really spurred something in me about like, how do you unlock that mystery? What do they draw the backgrounds first? Do they draw the character first? Like, I had no idea. And so I just really, really fell in love with comic books and kind of went off the deep end with it. My uncle was a technical artist for Northrop back in the day, drawing like top secret planes. So he was already into drawing, and he got me how to draw comics the Marvel way. And I mean, I devoured that book. I read it every day. It's an easy read. You can read it every day. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to tell my own story. It's an amalgam of everything I love about pop culture. There's a little bit of Turtles. There's a little bit of Spider-Man. There's a little 2001. There's all sorts of stuff in it that I just put into it because for me it was fun and it told an interesting story. And really the whole idea of it was to create a platform in which we could launch and create characters for our universe. So, man, I really appreciate that, David. That means a lot to me, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro. I mean, thank you, bro. I mean, because
thank you for saying it, Vonner, because I tell him all the time, and he thanks me, but he might not believe it. But coming from you, I mean, ever since I've been telling him, I'm like, yo, this shit is fucking sick. Like
it's dead, right?
The way you can tell, like, you can see the drama in the picture, you can see the action in the lines, in the weight of what he draws, like the depth, it's all there. The perspective, it's
everything.
There. Like,
it's everything. Like this is how our chats go. Like, I mean, like, damn, this is dope. And I'm sorry. Like, Alex Ross is all cool and all that, but I come from the John Romita era. You know what I'm saying? I come from the John Buscema era, the John Byrne era. You know what I mean? And like, what Kelly is doing is not just creating these beautiful covers that can't be touched. They are supposed to be grabbed and put into your face and be like, yo, what the hell? This dude is killing it. That's what I love. Like, Kelly is bringing comic book art to comic book fans and bringing that back. And I love that, man. I cannot stand comic books right now. I cannot. I don't like the pretty covers. I don't like the pretty pages, the sequential art, because to me, it's kind of like cheating. You know what I mean? Everyone is basically doing all these pretty pictures and then trying to wrap a story around it, as opposed to actually creating some sequential art. You know what I mean? Like actually storytelling with the art. Kelly is telling story with his art. And it's really like you see the push-pull. You see it. I mean, it's like watching a cinema. It's dope. It's dope. And I'm telling you, you guys are gonna be blown your mind's gonna be blown when you see that.
Thank you.
I can't wait.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, Eddie, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this earlier in the show, but for those who may have just joined, you did say that these are going to be injection molded, right?
They will be, mass-produced, high injection molded, ABS plastic. It's the goal. It's going to be top of the line as any other product. Yes, sir.
Perfect. And then Hawk the Basher, just dropping in. Reach to me on Instagram about the Necronomicist piece. I'll talk to you about that separately. But also just pre-order the Bandito.
Another Bandito pre-order.
Oh man, guys. Wow, beautiful, man. Beautiful. Guys. I mean, I don't even know what to say. That's so touching.
I know what to say. More money.
Let's go.
You gotta get that. You gotta get it.
And then our good friend, Figure Fight Club, huge shout out to David Vonner, the legend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your member chat there, sir. That's all I got in chat, Mr. Darklaw.
Awesome. Well, that means one thing, guys. It is time to wrap it up. Where is my wrap it up music, Aaron?
Wrap it up,
Here it is. Here it is. There we go.
Guys, this was so fun. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, no problem.
We loved it.
No, it's been a blast. So, Eddie and Kelly, I'm sure you guys are going to promote a lot of the same thing, but before we go, what would you like to promote?
Eddie, shoot.
Yeah, go ahead and visit us at OddFrogEntertainment.com. Don't forget to pre-order your Bandido at Hella Dope Toys. nerdzoic.com and oddfrogentertainment.com. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at the 112th Street Chop Shop and OddFrog Entertainment. And don't forget to catch us on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube on BanditoRadio.com. Man, we're everywhere. You know, just find us, Google us, 112 FM Bandito Radio. If you Google OddFrog Entertainment Bandito Radio, we'll come up. Find us, follow the links, click, boom.
Awesome. I would just say, if you're a creative person out there, we want to hear from you. You know, if you have an idea and you're serious about it, if you're like me and like you're sitting here right now watching this and you're just like, I gotta tell somebody about this idea. We want to hear from you. I mean, realize we're a small company, and if we don't have the bandwidth to work with it now, we want to work with you eventually. And, you know, we're all about owning what you create. You know, there's ways to license products and license things and do deals without like having to own your creation. And I don't want you to own mine. I don't necessarily need to own yours, you know? So I would say realize what OddFrog is to us is about helping other people with creative ideas like ourselves get those ideas to market.
And I just gotta say, you know, I want to go kind of, you know, in different vein. You know, I gotta say, number one, you know, thank you to my wife for supporting me in dealing with all of my stuff. And I gotta say, thank you to my mother, who got me into Marvel Comics. She gave me Marvel comic books in the crib. So thank you, Mom. And I want to say thank you to my sister-in-law, my sister in heart, to Darlene for making these awesome.
What you sipping on?
Like, the women in my life have been so supportive, and we cannot do anything without them. So, you know, let's extend that to our female collectors, our female writers, our female artists, our female who in our relationship, who holds us down to say, you know what, you know, despite what everyone may say, they're expressing their love, their passion, their joy. So, I mean, thank you to every single female, not only in my life, but in our lives, to hold us down, hold us accountable, and make sure that we constantly do the right thing through our passion. So thank you.
Amen to that. My mom bought my first comic book too, so I relate to that. Thank you, Mom. Plus, my mom, like, now that we have all these NDAs and I can't share a bunch of stuff, my mom's the only one I can call and be like, look what I drew.
And she's like, oh, baby, I'm so proud.
Same thing. I'm 48 years old. I still get the same praise.
Shout out to the women in our lives.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Aaron, I know this is last minute, but there was a super chat that snuck in there.
Yes, I'll pop it up in just a second. But I do want to show off their Bandito on HelloDopeToys.com.
Look at that beauty right there.
$59.99 at retail price. But if you see right under, put down that $1 just to secure your Bandito. And we will send invoices at time of production so that you guys can get your funds together. So make sure you guys back this amazing project with these amazing people. The Bandito looks amazing. I will be securing mine more sooner than later because I gotta have my Eddie Guerrero in his lowrider, man. Like, it's just meant to be.
Yeah, we've heard that a couple times.
So make sure you guys go there, HelloDopeToys.com. $1 down. That's all you gotta put down to secure your Bandito. And you know, go do it.
$2 down.
Vehicle.
Don't go to the strip club.
Right. You can save that for next week. Save it for next week.
I mean? Don't go to the weed spot.
You might still need to go there.
Stuff your ones in the Bandito trunk.
There it is. And right before we go, Alex gifted us a generous $5 super chat. Thank you so much.
Oh man, thank you, Alex.
for the knowledge and the inspiration this episode has dropped from Vonner to OddFrog to Hella Dope. Thank you
Hella
so
dope.
much. We appreciate that.
I just want to go ahead and give you guys a shout out. This is clean. This is fucking hella dope. The sounds, the production, it's all fucking hella dope.
Hell yeah.
Thank
We
you.
are not from California, by the way. We're from Ohio.
Oh no, I couldn't tell because that shit is
My
hella
family's from
dope.
Cincinnati, Ohio, bro. My family's from Cincinnati. My family's from Cincinnati, bro. So we got love. We got love.
For sure.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
The OA's 10, as my uncle Tyrone says. The OA's 10.
Yes.
Well,
OH
I'm gonna
10.
leave you. I'm gonna leave you guys with the video that we played on the way in. Aaron and I will not be here next week. It is WrestleMania weekend. We are taking a Sunday off, but we will be back after that. doing our normal
baby.
bullshit.
What?
Back on our bullshit. We will see you all in 2 weeks. Love you all.